This is a 2019 Ram Promaster City SLT. Might look familiar to people that are in Europe as a Fiat Doblo, because that's exactly what it is. When Fiat facelifted the second generation Doblo in 2015, they brought it to North America as this, the Ram Promaster City. They previously brought over the Ducato as well, the bigger van, as a Promaster, and that's still in production. There is no version of the third generation Doblo as a Promaster City. These ended production in 2022. There's some quirks to the American version though that are quite interesting if you're a bit of a nerd like me, and those are what I want to talk about today. We're going to take this for a drive. I'm going to show you around it first, then we'll take it for a drive, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the Ram Promaster City. I'm Darren Walker, and this is Auto Atlantica. So this is an unashamedly rebadged version of a Fiat Doblo, as evidenced by the round Fiat badges that have been replaced by Ram badges. And even the key is a standard Fiat key. So, as I said, this is the Ram version. Ram is the commercial arm of Dodge in North America. It's actually a separate brand completely now from Dodge. It has been since 2010. It's primarily known for the pickup trucks, but then we've also got these Fiat-based commercial vans as well. What's actually interesting about the Ram alongside the Ford Transit Connect is that, and the strict commercial versions themselves are turned into commercial vans after they're imported. This, like the Transit Connect, is built in Turkey. So they all arrive with side glass and rear windows. But the commercial versions are basically manufactured with the steel panels put in once they arrive in North America, and that's to avoid the age-old chicken tax. With the Promaster, and unlike the Transit Connect, the passenger vehicle version, which this one is, retains this steel reel panel, and that is unlike the Doblo in Europe. It's very utilitarian, as you might expect, and that's what it's designed to be. So we've got rear seats, which the commercial one doesn't, but you've still got a very basic cargo area. This one's got sort of like a rubber mat in there, but you can see a lot of exposed metal. This one doesn't have rear wipers. They were an option. So I think, like I say, it just came as this trim level SLT, and then you added onto it. So you could even get alloy wheels. This one has just got wheel covers, but you've got electric windows, electric and heated mirrors as well. You have a rev counter and a very basic trip computer as well. Standard auxiliary switch and USB-A port. There is manual air conditioning, and like every Ram, it comes with the Uconnect system. This is pretty much the base unit. That is a 5-inch screen, and that's it. There is no other creature comforts or niceties whatsoever. The seats are very basic. Obviously you've got airbags in the seats as well. You've got a little armrest, and with it being utilitarian, you've got two 12-volt sockets up front, which is quite nice. You've also got a cup holder. It wouldn't sell here if it didn't. Under the hood of this one is the 2.4 litre Tiger Shark engine, which was unique to North America. It's variable valve timing, multi-air technology. It even says multi-air on the acoustic cover under the hood. It's the same technology, but they just called it Tiger Shark because Chrysler built it. It went into a variety of applications in this country, but in this application, just under 180 horsepower and about 170 pound-feet of torque. Okay, so it's very basic in here. You've got Bluetooth with a telephone function there. You do have cruise control. 9-speed automatic transmission. That was the only transmission available in all North American models. So the dashboard it's very basic, but it's functional. You got a small screen here, it tells you what gear you're in, what the date is, what the temperature is outside, and the clock there as well, and just your basic gauge layout. But it does have a tachometer, which is really pointless with an automatic gearbox, but still. You do have like a Tiptronic system on the gears as well, which you just move over the gear lever, and then you can go up and down through the gears. But you know, like with all such systems, it will just do it for you anyway. So let's take it for a run. Here in Ohio, it is the end of January. It's suddenly got very mild, and that of course means it's pothole season. This particular car being a used vehicle, somebody's actually applied window tint, very nice window tint actually, to the front windows. I mean, it practically looks factory. It's got a lot of torque. It pulls nicely, but acceleration is not what you might call brisk. It does feel solid though. It feels heavy, and the kind of car that you could probably plough through snow quite well in actually. This is purely a utilitarian vehicle. It would actually make a really good mini camper if you took the back seats out. So for that reason, I'd probably just get the base commercial version. Now, the commercial version did come in a base tradesman trim, and that's got blacked out bumpers, etc. And then there's this SLT trim, which looks a little bit fancier. The wagon version, which this is, has the side glass, the rear glass, and the rear seats as well, and not much else. But that only comes in an SLT trim, and from there you can appoint it with various options like rear wipers and front fog lights, for instance. But the options list is not extensive on this thing. It actually feels a bit more substantial than a lot of Fiats, even modern ones. The dashboard is very plasticky, however. That is hard plastic, very scratchy. But you've got somewhere there to put your knickknacks, etc. You could put some maps there, or, well, anything really. It's fairly small. And then you've got a full glove box underneath. But in the middle here, I do like these double 12-volt sockets. I use 12-volt sockets probably as much as USB, so that's quite handy to have. Because there's still a lot of devices like satellite navigation units and things like that that use these. Sure, you've got some trailing wires, but even so, that's nice to have. And then there's a little sort of trinket area up front here as well, in front of the standard ubiquitous cup holder. It wouldn't sell in this country without a cup holder. But with this primarily being van based, essentially it's a commercial vehicle, you've got an incredible amount of viewing area here. It's a massive, really tall windscreen. It's almost vertical, in fact, as well. So, and with the driving position, you sit very high up, and so you've got a real commanding view out of this thing as well. I prefer it to a minivan in actual fact, because it's just, obviously it's got more compact dimensions. Compared to my minivan, it's probably the same width, but it's certainly not as long. And I think this would be fun, really good fun as a small van conversion, actually. A lot of people have done that in this country to Transit Connects, especially the original taller, longer version, the high box version. This is certainly not a quick vehicle. This engine produces 180 horsepower. It is naturally aspirated. Fuel injected, of course, but there's no turbocharging assistance at all. There's not a lot I don't like about it, really. I just wish the materials were a little bit plusher. These seats, I don't think I would enjoy on a long journey, for instance, which would be a problem if I had this car as a camper. But they look pretty hard wearing, which is a plus. But they're reasonable. They're not bad. They do come quite a bit forward though, so the bolster is pretty decent. They just don't give you an awful lot of lateral support. So now we're up to a 55 mile an hour speed limit. Let's see how this thing takes off. Yeah, that gearbox, it's a bit laggy. Where a vehicle like this excels, of course, is in its cargo space. It has 101 cubic feet, and if you take the back seats out, that extends to 131 cubic feet. The cargo space itself is over 4 feet wide, and that makes it excellent if you want to perform my little idea of a mini camper conversion. The steering it's not too light, it's not too heavy, it's really nicely weighted. So that really adds to the driving experience, I think. It makes it much more pleasurable when you've got steering that you can actually feel that you have that you are joined to the ground. Get onto the freeway here and just see how this thing picks up. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's quite willing, which you would expect from a 2.4 litre engine. I think the gearbox holds it back a little bit, but you'd expect it to, because I would imagine that the ratios in this gearbox are mapped for a commercial vehicle. This is no sports car. But I do like the steering. It's very nicely weighted. It's not too light. It's not too heavy. And especially on minor roads, it does feel really well planted. Yeah, we're up to 60, and I want to watch it on this road because I've had a speeding ticket on this road before. Would I buy this car? Yes, at a push, I think. I'm not really a commercial van kind of person, and that's what this car ultimately is. But if I was buying one for like I say, a camper conversion, I think this would work quite well. To that end, I think it would be very decent indeed. It's economical. I mean, you'll average 25 miles to the gallon in this all day long. It's reasonably quick. It will get you out of trouble. I like the steering. It's very well planted. You know, you feel connected to the road. It's a bit noisy, but that comes with the territory. But the engine noise isn't bad. The tyre noise is a little bit different, but that could just be the tyres that are on it. But there is a fair bit of road noise in this cabin. All in all, I like it. I like the way it drives. Suffice to say, I've already mentioned that this van is no longer on the market. Indeed, all of the small vans like this, such as the Nissan MV, Chevrolet City Express, Mercedes Metris aka Vito, and the Ford Transit Connect have all gone. Right, so that's it from me and my review of this used 2019 Ram Promaster City SLT. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please like and subscribe. That will help us tremendously, and it will help us get more cars as well to feature on this channel. Let's say, as we've said before many times, there are no limits to where this channel is going to go in terms of the kind of cars that we're going to feature. I'm Darren Walker, and this is Auto Atlantica.